Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, from the sunny Caribbean, you are watching What You Need. In our series on the pivot, we now speak about the use of the pivot in offense. Now, a straight up and down fighter attacks straight on. That is, they attack the opponent straight in front of them. But for more advanced boxers like Roy Jones Jr., they can attack their opponents from an angle. We say that they have special effects because they come in at an angle their opponent does not expect. In that case, they must use the pivot to change up that angle of approach and convert it into an angle of exit where their opponent can do least damage to them. Now in this case, you didn't see the earlier part of this video, but the gentleman attacking Roy Jones Jr. is Julio Cesar Gonzalez. And the interesting thing about him is that he becomes later on, after this fight, a future WBO light heavyweight champion. Now, the thing about it is that Roy Jones Jr. here, as you notice, unfortunately you can't see the earlier part of the video, but in the earlier clip of this video, Julio Cesar Gonzalez, he's actually facing Roy Jones Jr. And Roy Jones Jr. feints the jab, and so Julio Cesar Gonzalez comes in off his jab. He's stepping in, and Roy Jones Jr. moves across Julio Cesar's body. As you can see, he goes low, and he moves across his body. And he pivots, and while he's pivoting, he throws the left hook. That sets him up to exit at an angle to Julio Cesar Gonzalez. So he slides in off an angle, crouch low, comes up high, and catches Julio Cesar Gonzalez smack on the chin, which drops him. So the use of the pivot comes in very handy in your offense to slide in at an angle your opponent does not expect. Roy Jones Jr. feinted, Julio Cesar Gonzalez went low and then threw the hook, and as you see, he pivoted, exiting at an angle, or as we say, rolling away from Julio Cesar Gonzalez. Note the color of their shorts, will you? Because the next video shows Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Juan Manuel Marquez, and I thought this is a curious observation, but the color coordination of both fighters corresponds to the color coordination of Roy Jones Jr. versus Julio Cesar Gonzalez. Notice Floyd wears blue and white trunks, and Juan Manuel Marquez has the colors of the Mexican flag. Roy Jones Jr. wears blue and white trunks, and Julio Cesar Gonzalez is wearing the colors of the Mexican flag. I thought this was a curious observation. Now, interestingly enough, Floyd Mayweather Jr. here is doing almost exactly the same thing that Roy Jones Jr. did, except he's not bending low. He didn't dip down low. But here he feints the jab and then throws a left hook on Juan Manuel Marquez at an angle Marquez was not expecting. He moves across Marquez's body to do this. So by feinting the jab, Marquez throws his jab just like Julio Cesar Gonzalez, expecting Mayweather to come straight on him, but Mayweather slid to the side and throws a left hook and pivots away at an angle. Now, even though Mayweather did get touched by Marquez there with his jab, Mayweather was moving at an angle, or pivoting at an angle, such that he would move with the punch. So even if Marquez was to throw a hook with him, Mayweather was moving in the direction of the hook, which means he would be moving away from the power shot and therefore not in danger of being hurt severely. So that The pivot is used not only to pivot out of the way of danger, but to also generate leverage on the punch. So there you see two fighters doing almost the same thing. Here's Roy Jones Jr. pivoting. So he comes in at an angle the opponent does not expect, and then pivots into the punch and out and away from his opponent. He's moving away from his opponent. Same thing here. So the pivot is used in attack. Not straight on attack, but always side on attack. You're attacking at an angle that your opponent hasn't realized you're attacking at. That's called special effects. You're not coming straight up at your opponent. You're actually coming in at an angle, but the opponent doesn't realize that until it's too late. You also exit at an angle. It's more apparent with Roy Jones Jr., where you see him literally spin and spin away at an angle, and his opponent's moving off at another angle to him. Here it is in super slow with Mayweather. Notice Marquez is moving away from Mayweather. It's the same punch, basically. It's the same setup. Alright guys, you have a great one.